Hey, I'm live. I'm here. I'm finally got my studio halfway back together. I've got to level up these big cabinets facing me. But as you can tell, I do have the lights on, and I got all of the lights on. So the posters are ready to show up. Larry, Curly, and Mo back here. I've almost got Shep over here to my right. He's up here, but not where he belongs just yet because we got to have the mini split serviced next week. So next week, when I come in here, studio should be back together fully. And tomorrow I got to put everything back on the shelves because everything is scattered all over the place. So I got to cut off the picture here because the desk behind me is full of our knickknack and bric-a-brac and all the crap that's on normally on the shelves. So apologize for that. Before we get started tonight, I will say that Robert, I hadn't told our guest this, but I do not like discussing politics on the show, period. It was mentioned last week. I didn't care for that, but I didn't say anything at the time. But this week, I've only got a couple of things to say. In fact, one thing about what's going on. It came from a much wiser man than I. It says, before you enter into a conflict, or do not enter into a conflict, be sure that the battle is already won. And I'll explain that to you. You don't go picking a fight with somebody or starting a war with somebody unless you've got every contingency covered. Anything your opponent can do, you have a solution for. And then you go pick a fight. Not trying to figure out, oh no, what do I do now? After you've already started a war. So just remember that. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Try reading it sometime. All right. Gonna get to a little bit more fun. I got a special guest in tonight. But first, we're going to go ahead and, since it's my fault, yes, Christopher Talley. Jennifer doesn't blame it on me so much, but all the hell that Christopher's going through is my fault. Let's go ahead and talk or play the video of the New Orleans Paracon. Go ahead and roll the New Orleans Paracon video, please. Wow. That didn't go very well. It was on my end. That was stopping and starting the whole dadgum video. Uh, let's go ahead and try the other video and see if it fares any better. We may struggle to do videos tonight. The one with the bat. Hello?
Hey, I'm trying. It's glitching. We're having major issues tonight. All right, which one do you want me to try?
The one with the bat.
I'm trying to find it. You're gonna have to tell me the title, Lynn, because it's glitching.
We'll be at the new.
All right, let's try this one. Okay, I don't think we're gonna be able to do videos tonight. I don't know what is.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll go ahead and take them down, and maybe we won't. They won't be there to glitch.
Okay.
I just won't do the intro. Everybody can just pretend there's a squeaky door opening. Okay.
There you go. All right. Why don't we just bring the guest on?
Instead of showing my pictures, I can just pose. I can, you know.
There you go. There you go. Poor Rob. He's been waiting patiently. It's usually not like this, guys. So okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Let me go ahead and bring in our guest. Who is it? Who was it? I forget. I gotta hook up his bio. I seem to have misplaced it. I tell you a little thing about Robert. It's Mr. Stanley Eagle Marshall. Give me another second. And roll up to the bio somewhere. Somewhere. There it is. No, that's not it. Okay, I'll get to it in a second. Wow.
I can tell you what I know, if that'd help.
Okay, here we go. Now I can read it.
Yeah.
We are about to bring on Robert C. Marshall, Master Sergeant, U.S. Air Force Combat Photojournalist, retired. He is a Black Native American, Cherokee Lumbee tribe. Tribal name is Stanley Eagle. He was the Air Force's first Black Native American in this career field. He served in the Vietnam era to Desert Storm. The first 5 years of his career was a tactical air reconnaissance in Germany. In 1975, the end of that assignment, because of his team's clearance level, they were diverted to Beale Air Force Base, California, and the SR-71. That is an impressive airplane. If you want to look at it, look up SR-71 and Google it. They'll show you some pictures of the SR-71. A super impressive plane. To the Pentagon and the Air Force Photo Depository to work on the declassification of the project book for 18 months. In 1976, he received his credentials through Syracuse University, class of 1977, and became a member of the first cadre of 56 U.S. Air Force combat journalists. In 1979, he was by name requested by Brigadier General Phillips to be assigned to Area 51 and its, quote, assets, unquote. Consider the Air Force Weapons Laboratory Special Projects section. Yeah. He's been delving in and dealing with the paranormal and UFOs all his life. And on the res and around the world, and in the Air Force. Robert Standing Eagle Marshall, where are you, sir? There we go.
Yo, Lynn, I is here.
You is here. Okay. I see you. You're moving. You're laughing.
A hoop,
I
and a
apologize
hop.
for the gremlins tonight, man.
Oh, like I said before, we went through this when I did my first talk last year on just the interim stuff of working in Area 51, and everything was on. They were trying to do it on Bluetooth to the audience, and it was glitching everywhere. You were picking up radio broadcasts, TV stuff. They were messing with it big time. And then the very next week, I my computer caught a virus. We had some showboaters in the audience that were trying to throw in some glitchy crap, like, where's the weather station in Area 51 and all of this all of this other stuff. I sent you some images of the black and white ones. The one that looks like something streaming straight up, that was just outside of Area 2.
Okay.
It was about 2:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And
Got one that's shaped like a upside down V with bright things, and another one has got like 5 or 6 things raining down with a bright spot in the lower. So which one are you talking about?
the one that looks like this, streaming up, and it's got lines coming across, it looks like a Jacob's ladder. You know, the science experiment of a Jacob's ladder where they hook up the electrodes, they're sitting next to each other like this. You put an electric charge
Okay.
and you see the electricity walk up the wires. Well, this was in the mid-air.
Go ahead and throw up 3FAFC04D. Is that it?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, that thing was in between Area 2 and one of the contractors that's up in the mountain range, and it was like about 2:30 in the morning, and all of a sudden I saw this thing going up in the air like that for about a minute and a half. Then it cycled through different colors. Look, I was the techie guy, and about 5 years ago, I got driven to try and recreate the things that I'd seen. That, like I said, I've signed so many NDAs, it's ridiculous. And I had to get this out of my head, because I've seen way too much. So there's this, the black blob that was black and white that looks like somebody standing in a doorway. I was in between Indian Springs and the nuclear test area at Mercury, Nevada. And just out of the corner of my eye, it was like a two-dimensional thing. It literally slid, like a door opened and there was something standing there. And then it popped when it closed. That was another thing that was like just before sunrise.
Wow.
Look, nighttime on Area 51 gets interesting.
I see. That is definitely interesting.
And then that blue field that you see, that white streak, that was just
that one.
Yeah. I recreated what I saw above Area 2 looking towards Provo, Utah. And that thing showed up in the sky. And it was
in the sky.
In the sky. And it was there a long time. I did my best to show how it was straight like this, but you see things coming off of it. It didn't move. It was just there. It was like somebody took a knife, cut through the sky, and pulled it.
It almost looks like a slash in our reality.
Yeah.
That is just weird looking.
Oh,
How
yeah.
big was it approximately? Could you tell?
I'd say it should have been about 5 or 10 miles long.
Wow.
It wasn't little. That thing was not little.
I'm
It
glad
didn't-
nothing came out of it.
It didn't pulsate. It was, well, I can't say that because the hair on my body just stood up each time it did this. It didn't move. You saw stuff coming off of it, like you can see in the picture. And then it just closed like nothing was there.
Did you get underneath it, or did it look like a
No.
triangle?
That thing was about 50 miles away. It was past the end of the mountain range that was Area 2, heading towards Provo.
Wow. I had no explanation for that.
And John Mariner said something about viewed from underneath. There was no way to view it from underneath. I was too far away from it. And here was the thing. When I when I met General Phillips, he was now a general. I had met him in Europe when I was in tactical recon, because he had something to do with the system that we were working on that was using lasers while you're doing aerial reconnaissance. The system we were on, you could only be on it 3 months at a time, off 2 months, and then back again, because during the time that you were off, they would dilate your pupils and take pictures of your irises to make sure that you didn't get any splash over while you were working with the machines and what the aircraft were doing. We could cut through anything, fog, camouflage. The Russians couldn't hide shit from us. And like I said, when we got ready to transfer to the States to Beale to put this on the SR-71, my crew got diverted. There were 4 crews. And because of our security clearances, we joked, about our clearance, because they said that we were classified over there at the level of nukes. And I said, okay, so what's the classification there? Cosmic secret. Went, oh, okay. So me and my crew, there was like 5 of us, we were diverted to the Pentagon and the still photo depository on Fern Street. This was a building. It was a warehouse complex that had CID. You named the number agency, it was in this warehouse, and each of the sections had vault doors. And we were in the center one. There was a railroad spur to the building, and occasionally there would be a yard pusher that would bring up these weird looking rail cars. You never saw these rail cars during the day. Would push these things up. Guards would come out. They'd put up these barriers so that it was linked to the doors of whatever agency they were going to. And then they would be moving things back and forth, close it up again, and back it went.
Cool.
Yeah, that whole complex is gone now. but it was an extremely interesting assignment. We were printing pictures, developing film, everything that was brought in when they were super important had guards with them. All of our trash had to go into these bags because anything that didn't print right wasn't left to go into the normal trash, the films and everything else. And then you signed an NDA and they left. A couple of days or weeks later, they come in with either movie film, still film. We'd process them. We had our own section of the lab away from everybody else. And then our normal duties was, being photographers like everybody else and processing things of golf tournaments and whoever else, things from the archives, we'd process that. But when the stuff for Blue Book came in, we were off in our own section.
Okay, Johnny Mariner, he's getting late for him. So good night, Johnny. Sleep well.
Where is he at?
Don't know. He never said. I am not familiar with Johnny Mariner, to be honest with you. Texas.
Oh, Texas. Okay, neighbor.
So it is 9:17 here in Texas, or I'm in Arkansas right next door. Now, Gwen, you want to throw that last picture I put in, one with the plane? There we go. That's what we're talking about, isn't it? When you're with the SR-71 group?
Still got the circling. Yep, the SR-71.
That is a great HD picture of an SR-71.
Unbelievable aircraft.
Especially at the time it came out. It was amazing.
It still is, because it broke records that nobody has been able to break. And some of the records that they broke, they didn't tell you the actual time and speed because that's classified.
Yes.
So,
of course, it was classified where they got the metal. It was all titanium, wasn't it?
Yeah, all titanium.
They got from Russia, because we don't have titanium here. We got it all from Russia, said it was going to be for research.
Until we found, other sources and deposits. Right.
There's not too many sources of titanium even today. And we made these planes from Russian titanium to spy on Russia, which is amusing.
Mm-hmm. There was a joke at this one research facility in Area 51 where in 1960, you see if I get the thing right, 1962, either between 58 and 62, the Russians sent them a filament of, I think it was gold, that had been stretched out to where the end of it was microscopic. We drilled a hole in the microscopic end, threaded it through it, and sent it back to them. And the one contractor that was working on the system that we had in Germany was TRW, and they had on the roof of their building in Texas, the sign was in, I think they said 4-foot letters. If you can read this sign from 85 miles up, you are where we were 30 years ago.
Oh, wow.
That was crazy. And this was 1974. No, 1972. because they came in putting this system in, testing us, training us, and then we were off and running with it. And they, to show you how fast they were developing our cameras and optics, the camera system with forward-looking, rear-looking, right and left, left and right front split vert, left and right rear split, was a camera system that was 7 feet long and weighed about 500 pounds.
Wow.
In 4 years, this guy walked in with 3 Halliburton cases.
Halliburton.
Halliburton cases, suitcases. Opened these 3 things up, took this stuff out, and linked them together. And he goes, here's your new system. Which meant our recon planes could now carry more stuff.
Yes.
More sophisticated stuff in that bay. Made it a hell of a lot easier loading cameras and pods up into it.
Yeah, I bet it did. Amazing aircraft. Let me ask you a question. Gwen will put up the new picture, OIP2 JPG. You know what this is?
Yeah.
Where were you when the pilot defected that was flying one of these things, took it to an Air Force base, and Russia demanded their plane back, and we sent it back to them in crates?
Yeah, I know the story of that. I forget the year. I was in Germany from 1971 to 75. Then I had a break, and then I was back in theater from 1987 to 89. Still the damn Cold War. I know there were guys in my headquarters over in Europe that was talking about that. But this is the plane that they found out that the Russians didn't have transistors, but they had figured out how to make vacuum tubes that could withstand the G-forces of Mach, something that we weren't capable of doing, but they did. Because there were no transistors in that plane. That thing had just vacuum tubes.
Wow. Of course, this was a heck of a plane. And due to that defecting pilot, well, we were able to look over every piece of it and just copied it, graded it back up, and sent it back to them.
Yeah. Now, when I was in Area 51, we were working. There was the cover of the exercise was Electronic Warfare During Close Air Support, EWCAS. That was the general's baby, and I was brought there for that. The first month, we had C5s coming in at least once a week, offloading equipment that was Russian electronic warfare equipment and other stuff that I think we had reverse engineered, that they found pieces of it that were destroyed during the Yom Kippur War. And that's what we were working on. And the briefing of the NATO pilots and the American pilots was this: we are going to destroy your plane. We are going to smoke it out of the sky. If your plane starts smoking, you bail out. I will pay for the aircraft. You are not replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
And every form of aircraft that was used for close air support during a battlefield scenario was brought there and just ate up. There was a There was a British Buccaneer pilot that he came up to do what they called a slingshot maneuver, which was they have the math down pat. You're coming in near Mach, you pull up, and right when you pull up, you eject a bomb.
Right.
And that bomb in its arc will come in and drop exactly where you needed it to, or close, within 50 yards. Now, when you're talking about a bomb that takes out 300 yards, 50 yards ain't shit.
Mhm.
So he came in and he went too far in before he popped up to do the simulated bomb drop. He had to punch out. It ate his plane.
Wow.
In his debrief, he was going, pardon my French, my fucking debris didn't even make it into the battlefield. Because as he did this and popped up, as his plane was losing it, it was committed to the kip over. So as it was dying, it was flying back out. So he had punched out and the plane was already committed.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. It was smoking. It was dead. I felt sorry for him, but the guy was laughing and crying at the same time because it's like, you killed my baby.
They always say it's my plane. It's actually our plane. The taxpayers pay for all that.
Well, the British, it was a British Buccaneer.
You're right.
But that's the way it is. You're assigned that plane. You've put it through all of this stuff. You've flown it for however how long. And he's going, you killed my baby. So we learned from that, and to show you how strong this equipment is, it was only working at 75 to 79%. And one day they decided to see what would happen if they cranked it up to 90. Certain electronic services down in Nevada went out. So you have to understand, Area 51 is the only place that you can test things in secure conditions and where surrounding areas are safe.
Glenn, go ahead and throw up the new picture, 69CA1B357. There it is.
Yep, that's a Buccaneer. Smoked it. That is one beautiful freaking plane.
It is. I got a nice picture of it here. This looks like a two-seater.
Yeah, that's their Recon, and also their tactical bomber version. You always have a tactical guy in the rear. I was at their base in Laarbrücken, Germany, on a TDY for 2 months. Great guys. We were showing them what our system could do and put a prototype on their plane. We use 5-inch film where they use 70 millimeter.
Of course.
But still got the same results. So, when we were getting ready to leave, NATO was baying at the leash to get that system for them.
All right. Well, that was an interesting story in the Buccaneer. Of course, being a little bit of an aviation nut, I can get those really quick.
Now, do we want to talk about some of the paranormal things?
uh,
Or
okay. Gwen, go ahead and throw up
or
AE
finish
five
or
two.
finish whatever questions you have on what we've been doing. And
All
then
right. Well, right now we don't have any questions in the comment section. There we go. What is that? Is my
that's the
question.
one that is the one I told you that I saw just before dawn on the edge of Indian Springs and Mercury, Nevada. And like I said, it was out of the corner of my eye. This looked like a door slid open. And this
Mm-hmm.
thing that you see standing in there, I couldn't recreate the glisten and shimmer that that was going on. And when I turned to fully take a look at it, you have to understand, I've been dealing with these phenomena since I was a child, and this was classified on the edge of what they call two dimensionals. They have height and width, no depth. But when you turn to look at them, they'll either turn or wherever they were coming through will close. So you can never really get a straight look at them. But I've got really good peripheral vision. And before I actually saw it, I was looking at it.
All right.
Don't know.
Uh, what about EB54B7, Gwen? I have no idea what I'm looking at here.
Okay, this is crossing into UFOs.
Okay, let's go
Now,
there.
I was on a tactical nuke base, Comiso, Sicily, from 1987 to 89. In the fall of 1988, we had this exercise, ground launch cruise missiles. Each base had about 60. Each truck carried 4 rounds. There were NATO inspectors there, and this day the rollout out of the containment area was full up rounds. There weren't dummies on board these trucks. And as they were reeling out into the yard, I'm at the other end of the base looking down towards the nuke area. And I had flown with the Air Weather Service and NOAA for about 6 months doing storm chasing. And I saw a storm front coming up from the left, from the right. This super dark, dense front. And it had a arc to it like this. This is the breeder for a tornado. It literally looked like my hand coming up like this. Coming in from the med was a white front, and it was going just like this, undulating, and it came just like this and slipped under just like that. As soon as it did, it started to turn. What I was looking at was the beginnings of an F5 tornado over the
Oh
nuke
wow.
area. Now, coming in over my building was a lenticular cloud, and it was moving faster than clouds should normally move. And it came in and it positioned itself just in front of this front. Trailing behind it after it got into position was this sparkling array. And it was just coming in like this. And it was like it was wrapping around this way, coming up and below. The next thing I know, this F5 was being compacted down to where I think it was only maybe 500 to 1,800 feet. It had been collapsed down like that. Now, the other picture that's with this.
Okay, that's 08B, that one?
Yeah. Now, you see this white area right there? That thing came in and did this. 1, 2. Next thing I know, it was split in 3 pieces. The furthest one on the right got thrown into the mountain range. The middle one was thrown back towards the med. The one that was on the left was tossed into the town of Comiso. It did minimal damage, but the most marked thing was at the stone cut